These are 10 reasons that I think short scale basses are pretty cool. So the reason I actually picked up a short scale bass in the first place is because they're lighter and they're easier to carry around. I used to carry around a Telecaster in one hand, and I had my Fender Marcus Miller jazz bass signature in the other hand. And I don't know if it's like every one of those basses or if it's just mine, but it's a really heavy bass. It's heavier than my 6-string bass. I think it's like probably 14 pounds or something, which is really heavy, even for a bass guitar. Whereas my guitar maybe is like around half that. So it started to mess my back up after a while. So I started looking around for a short scale bass, and I picked this thing up just thinking like, I can just use it for lessons or whatever. It's probably fine. And I was like, whoa, this rips. I mean, I've modded it a little bit. There's a pickle sticker on here that my friend gave me. This is actually the bridge from my Marcus Miller bass. I need to put a new bridge on that still. It's about the same weight as my Telecaster, and I travel around teaching lessons. I have a guitar on one shoulder, I have a bass on my other shoulder, so it just kind of balances everything out, feels better for my back. It's great. The other nice thing about it being more lightweight is that if you're playing a really long gig, and I don't know if you have like back issues or something, or even if you don't, I mean, like basses are heavy to have on your back for like a 4-hour gig or whatever. A short scale bass is a lot more like a guitar, so it's a lot easier to get through a gig with one of these on your shoulder instead of a regular scale bass. Some people say there's more fundamental in the pitch of a short scale bass, but I haven't done an objective test or anything. The third reason is that strings on a short scale bass feel a lot slinkier. I don't actually have like special short scale strings on here. I just cut regular strings to a regular length, which you're probably not supposed to do, but the shop I was at the time that I put these on here didn't have short scale strings, so what are you gonna do? You can really bend the strings pretty easily. There's kind of like a unique tone that you can't really get with a regular scale length bass. I kind of like playing short scale basses with the pick sometimes actually, because it sounds really funky. So another good reason to get a short scale bass is it's a lot easier to play if you have short arms or small hands or long fingers. I cannot attest to this personally because I'm kind of tall and I have big hands and long fingers and long arms and stuff. But even for me, less to reach. I can stretch my fingers a lot farther, a lot more easily. Like I can go 5 frets on a regular bass, like on my 6-string bass or a 4-string bass or whatever. But here it's just easier, you know? I don't have to work as hard because everything is closer together. And if you have trouble playing a regular scale length bass because it feels like everything is just too far away, you know, maybe try a short scale bass. Another reason having a short scale bass, which is easier to play for people that might have small hands, short arms, whatever, blah, 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 is that if you have, I don't know, family members or friends or siblings that might want to try playing bass, odds are this is going to be a lot easier of an introduction to play than a full scale bass. Not that you can't play a full scale bass, obviously, but this will probably be easier for most people. This kind of brings me to my next point, which is that it's not just easier for someone who maybe can't play a full scale bass or has trouble playing a full scale bass because the frets are too far away or because the neck on the bass is too long or the tuners are too far away. It's just straight up easier for everybody. There's a lot of mid-range basses around $750, $800. You could get one of these. I think I got this for like $500 or something like that. And it plays just as nice, and it's shorter. Again, easier to play. I guess that's really the core of my point. Short scale basses are just lighter and they're easier to play. They also have kind of like a simpler sound. I mean, like this one obviously has a P bass pickup in it and a J bass pickup. This is the only short scale bass I've really played, but it sounds good. A friend of mine who has heard it a few times says kind of sounds like a better version of a P bass, is what he said. And this does kind of fill the role of like a P bass among all the basses that I have got. I would also say in general they just sound really good, and in addition to being able to fill the role of a P bass, at least this particular one I find can definitely do that. Again, probably because it has a P bass pickup, but I'm sure you could get a similar sound out of other short scale basses. Another thing I've actually found is that they're good for making lo-fi hip-hop music with. I know a guy, his name is Ben Carr. He goes by Cartoons. He makes a lot of lo-fi music, and he has this short scale bass, but he has the American version, I think, and it has a pickup like this. It doesn't have this pickup over here. It has one here like this, but the pickups are sort of like ovally shaped instead of these rectangles for the split coil pickup. And he kind of makes that sort of stuff a lot of the time, and I always see him using this bass. I've actually been using my Mustang. This is a Fender PJ Mustang bass. I've been using this in some of my own lo-fi beats, like on Seems Super Chill. It is on the song World Seems. I think I played it on. Maybe future me could confirm that. Those are pretty much all my reasons for getting a short scale bass. They're pretty sweet. I think they sound dope with a pick. I think they sound good fingerstyle. And you can even do like the guitar thing, like you can do a hybrid picking, use your index and your middle. Kind of like Clay Gober does in Polyphia. And I find it, sometimes on a regular scale bass, when you do that with your middle finger, it can kind of hurt because the string doesn't move around that much on some basses. But on this, it's a lot more comfortable because the string just kind of gets out of your way. And they sound good for slap too. I don't love slapping on this particular bass because it feels kind of cramped to me because of how small the area is here versus my hand is kind of a lot bigger than it, as you can see. But I still can do it, so. I just feel like, yeah, it just feels sort of like cramped to me. It's a little awkward, and I feel like it messes up my flow with it. I usually keep, I might as well talk about my settings. I usually keep the volume on full. I pretty much do that with like any Fender guitar, bass, anything. Because if you roll the volume off, you lose a lot of treble really fast, in addition to losing volume. On the tone on most basses and guitars from Fender, actually basically every single bass and guitar that I play that is a Fender stock, I leave the tone all the way up too. But on this bass, I find with the round wounds on it, it's like really bright. That's kind of not what I'm looking for from this. I think it sounds okay on just the P bass pickup, but otherwise. I just want it to sound darker, I guess. So I like to kind of take the tone knob, set it about halfway down, and I go P pickup only, and then that's how I like to usually play this bass, because I feel like it gives me more of kind of like a fuller, darker, deeper bass sound, which is good for lo-fi. It's good for P-bass type stuff. All the things that I feel like this bass kind of wants to do and wants to be. Anyway, speaking of all this lo-fi junk, you should really check out my lo-fi hip-hop beat tapes. I have 2 out. One is called Seems Super Chill. Another one is called Anime Spaceship Picnic. And I have a 3rd one coming out this Friday called The David, and you can pre-save it at the link in my bio down below. Alright, cool, that's all. See you later.